lay out your own.
Welcome back, this is Jack. I've played a lot of Elden Rings, and I have a few build ideas I want to go over. This one is about the Antspur rapier. I'm going to explain the philosophy behind this and some of the things you can change out to make it your own. I'll do a separate video on where these items are. That way if you want to avoid spoilers on some of these areas you'd be going to, you won't be spoiled. The reason we're using the Antspur rapier, or Antspur rapier, I'm never going to say its name right, so just yell at me in the comments about it, is it has several things about it that makes it an incredibly unique combination. For one, it's a rapier. Not everybody uses rapier, so I can understand this weapon not being your speed. However, it has a natural ability to apply Scarlet Rot. If you don't know what Scarlet Rot is, I don't know how you don't know what Scarlet Rot is. Like, I found that within the first 10 minutes of the game. But for those who don't know, Scarlet Rot is effectively fast poison. It is a rapid DOT that takes away your health, and it does work on bosses, and it almost never goes away on bosses unless they're completely immune to it. So that's number 2. It's one of the 7 weapons in the whole game that naturally does Scarlet Rot, and it's almost impossible to apply Scarlet Rot to a weapon permanently. You can do the consumables that are temporary. And number 3, it has the ability to have seppuku on it. Now, it doesn't need seppuku specifically, but that does make it very useful because we wanted the ability to apply bleed. Applying seppuku when you have the black whetstone allows you to choose to instead to apply poison to the weapon as its natural affinity. So the weapon on every attack will always apply Scarlet Rot and poison. You'll have 2 separate sets of DOT going on it, or damage over time. Now, seppuku has a unique feature about it. One, when you activate it, it gives you an immediate blood loss effect. That's an important detail I'll get to in a minute. But 2, it adds 80 blood loss to it. So meaning it would be as if the weapon naturally had 80 blood loss for the duration of seppuku's effect. So when that is in effect, you'll have Scarlet Rot, poison, and blood loss. Or be able to cause hemorrhaging in your enemies, which is when you see that giant burst of damage. Now, this being a rapier, it attacks fast, so you can rapidly apply this to multiple targets. It does not consume a lot of stamina to use, so you can dip out when you need to, apply it, and keep applying it, and keep applying it until they die. Or keep jumping between targets. Another benefit to being a rapier is you can also hide behind a shield if that is your playstyle. It is personally not mine, but it is an option. All right, so that's the weapon itself. Now let's talk about the talismans that help make this build. Here are your 3 damage-dealing ones. You have the Winged Sword Insignia, and its upgraded variants, Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, which is a more powerful version of it. And you also have Millicent's Hand, does roughly the same thing as the Winged Sword Insignia, except it also adds +5 to your deck. So both of them will work. I personally like the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia more. And since the rapier attacks fast, you'll get this ability to proc. What does it do? If you're not reading the screen, consecutive attacks will increase your damage. I think it goes up to about 22%. And since the rapier attacks fast, you will rapidly build up that damage threshold. And since you'll have a high stamina, you'll be able to dip in and out and keep applying it and keep building it. So that's just going to give you a raw damage no matter what situation. Here's where it gets better. You have 2 separate talismans, Lord of Blood's Exaltation and Kindred of the Rot Exaltation. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, I'm probably saying those words wrong. When there is blood loss in the area, hemorrhage is caused, you get a 20% damage increase for 20 seconds. When you activated seppuku, you triggered that. So for 20 seconds after that, you have a damage increase. And when you apply it on your enemy, it'll happen again and again and again. It'll just renew the timer.
But wait, there's more.
Now the Kindred Rot Exaltation does the exact same thing, except for if you are in the presence of someone under the effects of Scarlet Rot or poison, and your rapier does both. Doesn't stack both of them, doesn't give you 40% for doing that, but at least one will be in effect. So let's go over what each individual thing is doing. You have the Winged Sword Insignia, or its improved version, giving you a flat damage bonus because you keep attacking, and you have the 2 status effect special ones giving you an additional 20% for 20 seconds when they activate, which they should stay activated the whole time. That's a massive damage boost that you do not, it's just going to be activated from you fighting. And if you want to give yourself a little bit more sustainment and life power, I like adding in the Godskin Swaddling Cloth. Why? It does the same thing as the Sword Insignia, except for it gives you health. So the more you attack, more often you'll proc health. It averages about every 3 to 5 hits. So it's not consistent, but you do get health back. And since this weapon attacks fast, you'll get it back fast. You can dual wield this if you get a second Antspur rapier, or you can have a second rapier that's designed differently to apply different status effects or similar status effects, or just naturally does bleed. That's entirely up to you. All of those are constantly possible. However, you can also use a shield and hide behind the shield. Another variant would have you switching out for the Rotten Crystal Spear. It also is a thrust weapon, so you can apply seppuku if you want, but it is a spear weapon, so if you prefer spears, you can, and you can still hide behind a shield and all that good stuff if you want. However, I'm personally not a fan of using spears on their own for various reasons. I'm not going to go into that. This is just one of the ideas I've come up with during my playthrough, and as I concrete a few more of them, I'll share them on here so you can take a look. So you can hit that subscribe button. You'll know when I drop those next videos. And if you want to see me trial and error trying to beat the game, I'll be approaching my third playthrough as of this recording. You can take a look at my streaming channel. Links in the description. Smash the like button. Take a look at this video that YouTube's recommending. See you in the next one.